Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pits of Motorcast. This is your host, Dave. I got a special guest all the way from Virginia, Joseph Thomas. How you doing, Joseph?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Not bad. So how was your Christmas and New Year, brother?
Pretty good, man. With all the stuff going on, man, it's probably best as it can be expected to be.
So how was 2020 for you as far as drag racing goes with COVID going on and all that?
Man, this world's nuts right now. That's all you can really say.
So did you get any racing in?
Yeah, we got some. We literally just got the chassis done, so we went out the first time to test with Jamie Miller and them and the Proline guys. Blew the transmission apart first class, and got that fixed, and was able to get one race down in Florida. Because we were trying to work through issues when we went to Shakedown. And first passes on the chassis, the new chassis, and we got it down to a 415, still babying it, but still ain't hit that 3 marker that I want yet.
So tell us about that car.
Started out as my mom's street car, man. We built it for her, take it to car shows and stuff. Kind of just set in the shop. I mean, it's a true registered street car, tags match it, steel. We didn't want to take that away from it, so we kind of stuck with that whole theme when we were doing it. Ended up getting hooked up with Eric and Steve and them at Proline, and I purchased a motor from Ukano Race Team, the 41X that they had. And we just went from there, man. Kind of established a relationship, and me and Dad, kind of go out 4 or 5 times a year just to, have fun and, spend some quality time together, get to meet good people drag racing, man. And it's just been a process, ever since, man. We've been steadily chipping away at it. I got down to 420s with the actual street chassis in the car, and they were pretty much not going to let me race anymore. Because we double frame railed the stock chassis, and they certified it down to 460s, and I was like steady getting faster. Jamie was like, figured out what the car wanted, was throwing power at it, and it got to that point where it's a safety issue. So we pulled it apart, man. Had JE Customs completely go through and do I think it's a 23.2 chassis. So we could run the 6.0s and a quarter. And still keep the whole aspect of the street car with it. I mean, everything down to like the radio, touchscreen, and dash works. I can listen to music. But she's a different animal when it comes to being under the hood.
So what do you got under the hood of that car?
It's the 481X from Proline. Came out of the Ukano car when they went NHRA. They had to, they switched out to Hemis because NHRA requires Hemis for everything for the boost class. So we ended up buying this being one of their motors. Twin 94 Precisions. Everything Turbo Smart wastegate, Turbo Smart blow-off valves, Mark Mickey transmission, Pro Torque converter. Pretty much everything that Proline normally runs. They, Eric kind of hooked me up and treated me like anything they said I needed, we went with. That way we didn't have to worry about breaking input shafts or transmissions or busting casings. And, the game.
So how much does that car weigh?
Right now, with me in it, it's 3,040 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a heavy girl. Because we won't ditch the steel bumpers and steel fenders and all that crap, man. We just can't do it, man. I can't cut up a piece of history,
Yeah. So what year is that car?
It's a 67 of a Super Sport.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car.
Thank you, brother.
No problem.
I think it gets a lot of attention.
So do you do eighth mile racing only, or you do quarter too?
I haven't done quarter yet. Jamie kind of wants me to get used to it, because I went from Hondas to racing this. So, this was being my first V8 car I jumped in. And he kind of wanted me to take baby steps with it, not just go in and throw me into a car and just dump a ton of power at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been doing eighth right now. It is set up to do quarter, but, I mean, I'm still getting a feel for it. It's a little hard when you got, like, racing teams that go all the time, and I get to go, like, 4 times a year.
Man.
4 or 5 times a year, so it makes it hard to get used to it, but I'm getting the hang of it.
All right, so let me ask you this question, Joe. How did you get started into drag racing?
My dad, actually. My dad raced a Super Chevy show when I was little, and, I traveled all around, the East Coast and stuff with him, racing with, like, Monty Williams, John Banks, and all of them. That's back, gosh, man, that was way back in the day. Probably 25 years ago when they did this, man. They were doing, like, street cars that had to be, like, street tires and mufflers and still run, like, 820s and a quarter to 840s. I traveled with them, and then, also doing street racing with my dad. Then I got to that point where I could drive and stuff, but back around that time, Fast and Furious come out, so of course my generation kind of ventured towards Japanese cars, and I got to that point with Japanese cars where it's like you have to dump like $10,000 into a transmission for it to hold it. And I was like, I'm not spending $10,000 in the transmission for a Honda Civic. So I was like, we're doing this, and rest goes from there.
So you started on street racing.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that, but
So how many years did you street race?
Oh gosh, dude, 15.
So what year did you finally get on a track and start racing?
Probably about 6 years ago. It wasn't long.
So how was it? How was your first time experience going on a track?
Oh, dude, it was definitely different. But it was nice because, like, when we did this, I met Eric and Josh and Steve and all of them down at Darlington with Proline. They had me. They finished the car up. They had me go down and test with them. And like Josh Ledford, he sat there and took his time with me, dude. He's like, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. He took me on the track. He's like, you do 60. We're gonna start with like 60-foot launches. So we're gonna go work on the 330s, and we'll talk about going 8th mile. So he took a day and just literally sit there and just train me how to drive the car. And so it wasn't too bad. Like it was actually a really awesome experience. Not just because of the fact that getting to go down the track, but the fact you actually have somebody there to teach you something, so you didn't really have to be afraid. Even though driving 4,000 plus horsepower car is kind of like oh shit experience.
So I have a question from a listener. He's asking,
yeah.
Do you race anywhere near Hertford, North Carolina?
Yes, actually, we raced at Galat. I set one record, but I think it got taken down at Galat because it ended up pulling the front end up. I went across the finish line with the front end in the air at a 460 at 185. So yeah, I race at Galat. We typically do more East Coast stuff though.
So 6 years you've been racing on the tracks now, right?
Yeah.
So after 6 years of racing on a track, what still keeps you passionate about doing it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So for 6 years you've been racing on the drag race track. What still keeps you passionate about doing it after 6 years now?
It has to be the people, dude. I have a good support from my family, with people in my corner, not only family, but, business sense too, like, people we chose to work with. We picked specifically companies that I knew had a good reputation, and it kind of keeps you grounded in it and in it. And not just that, like people that help like come to the racetrack and like they love the car, they give you support. It's just all that, man. It's just like a combo. Plus, like the racing community, it doesn't make a difference how bad the world gets. Like there's no race, there's no gender, there's no age limitation in race. So whatever you are, when you get to that line, you know, it's on. But all that crap goes out the window. And it's just, you know, I love that. I love whether all the stuff that exists in the world right now, all the crap going on that doesn't exist in racing.
So what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer?
I have to say the feeling. That feeling you get when you're actually making a pass, man. Because, you know, I suffer from ADHD real bad, so it's like, you know, staying focused sometimes, man. But once you get behind the wheel and you start the car up, it's the only time that you're ever really clear. You know, you get behind the wheel and you start the car, man. Like your mind goes to a whole nother mindset, and it's just you're paying attention in front of you, paying attention to the light, paying attention to what you're doing, and you're making sure you make it down to the other end. You're not even so much worried about the guy beside you as you are taking the tree that you're, you know, trying to accomplish your goals. Now, it does change some of your grudge, because, you know, you're playing some games there, which we've done a few little grudge things, but other than that, man, that's, you know, it's just that clarity you get.
Now, is there anything that you hate about being a drag racer, Joe?
Yeah, the traveling. Things that sucks to drive to Florida, to hop out and drive a race car, to drive back to Virginia. That sucks. But other than that, you know, maybe one day I'll win the lottery and we can ship it. Other than that, that's the only thing.
Now, do you think you can get any better as a drag racer? And if so, how do you achieve that to get better?
Oh, dude, yeah, you can always improve. I would say always being willing to learn. I was taught from a young age that you can never learn enough. You should never stop learning. You know, if you give up with learning and not being able to pick up new skills, pretty much you're dead in the water. So it's, you know, I think like for me, it would be just surrounding myself with people and then taking on what the information they want to give. Like working with like Jamie, man. Like Jamie's, the one thing about working with Jamie is like Jamie, he'll jump down your back if you're doing something wrong, and he tells you what to do and you still do it wrong. But that's the kind of thing I need. Like I need somebody there that's willing to explain stuff and show you stuff and be willing to trust you to do stuff. And it's a good, you know, it's a good skill set to learn.
Now, if you could have drag race fans remember one thing about you, what would you want the fans to remember about you, Joe?
That they are just like me. You know, I am nobody special. I am just a person that loves what he does, and I appreciate and want people to love it with me, even if they never get a chance to own the car. You know, they're in it with me.
Now, if someone might be listening to this interview and they might be thinking about, you know, becoming a drag racer sometime soon, whether it be an adult or a youngin, what kind of advice would you give them?
Dude, keep your grades up. It's always good to have the fallback, but surround yourself with, you know, people that you can trust that are in your corner. Don't take on dead weight. Surround yourself with people that have your best intentions, you know, in what you're doing. You know, you don't want somebody that's going to be just, you know, there to be there.
Now, what's been your fastest run time?
With the new chassis, like I said, it was a 4:15, but it still turned way down. Like, I mean, we're barely into the power that it makes. with the old chassis, we had to cut. We ended up cutting it out at the 426, I believe. But that one was at 3,400 pounds at a 426. And this being a whole new setup, we literally just got this done and got that one race off, except for that shakedown where you've seen it, where we were working through the new car blues.
Now the 450 run, what track was that at?
The 415 was at Orlando Speedway.
So do you have any favorite tracks?
Oh yeah, I love VMP, and I love Galat. Man, Galat is awesome. VMP's awesome. Darlington's really good track too. But I love, like, VMP's like my home track, and Tommy Franklin has really turned that track around.
All right, so do you have any sponsorship?
Actually, I don't. Besides my parents, if you count that.
So your family backs you with your drag racing?
Yeah, 100%. Like, we've talked about, taking on sponsorship and stuff, but the only killer with that is then you're, like, obligated to do certain things, and we like the free range of, hey, if I want to pick up and go racing this weekend, we can go racing,
Now, do you have any siblings?
Oh, yeah. Older brother, younger sister.
They like drag racing?
Oh, yeah. My he's huge into it, too. It's just he's more into the import stuff still.
Yeah.
Maybe one day he'll come around to this, too, but, he still stays to what he likes. And, more power to him. I love it all.
How about your sister?
She does. She's not as involved in it as we are. But, I mean, I think it's more or less the fact that we all work together, too, as a family business. So it's like, we do mechanic work and diagnosing and stuff all day. So at the end of the day, she's done with it. She's like, I want to go home. No more cars for me.
No, you got any kids?
Oh, yeah, I got 4.
How old are your kids?
17, 13, 10, and 8.
Now, how are they as far as drag racing goes? They like drag racing?
Oh, yeah. They love it. My daughter, she comes out. My oldest comes out, to some of the events and stuff because she likes seeing it. It's just like with my middle daughter and my youngest daughter, which is they suffer from a rare disease that's like autoimmune, so they can't come to a lot of the racing. So they watch me on TV and stuff and cheer me on.
Now, the other 2 kids, do you think any of the other 2 would, do any drag racing at all?
No, they are kind of, they don't like loud sounds, which is kind of funny because they got a racer for their dad. So they might eventually get into it. I'm not really kind of pressing it because they're really big into their schooling right now. So I'm like, hey, until they come out and watch Dad, I'm going to let that happen because they're getting straight A's, so I ain't knocking it.
You got any nieces and nephews? Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I got 2 nephews, 2 nieces, all of them in the video games. So it's a little different transition from the age that we grew up into now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I always say sometimes when I'm doing interviews. If we could pull some of these kids away from the video games, maybe bring them to a drag race, maybe they'll enjoy the drag race.
Yeah, I mean, when you're kids, man, you go outside, you want to play.
Well, yeah, we would stay outside and play all night till the streetlights come on.
Oh, heck yeah. Me and my brother used to have brick fights, which sounds absurd now that I say it. But, dude, we used to build forts and throw bricks at each other. I've had my nails ripped out and everything. That's hardcore playing.
Yeah, I'd get called in for dinner, and then after dinner, run back out and play some more.
Oh, yeah. And you know that, the mom hollering out the front door.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm 52 years old. So.
Hey, 52 years young, brother.
Yeah. So, let's see. Do you have any, people in drag racing as far as drivers that you looked up to, or they influence you at all?
Yeah, I will say, like, I was real big on John Force, man. We got that when we were traveling when we were younger. John Force, man, he was just an awesome dude. I mean, like when you see him at the racetrack and stuff, and that kind of pushed me more towards, even more towards racing. Because it's like, you do get some of them that were kind of butt heads, but I mean, I guess you get that with anything, any sport. But man, he would like invite you in the trailer and talk to you, and dude, that like sold it for me, Because as a kid, you're looking at this guy who's like you see on TV, and you're like, wow, this is something amazing. He's like, nicest dude in the world, and that kind of sold us. Like it kind of sold me on it. So that and my dad, man, like I just remember riding with him. And he didn't have a crazy fast car, but like you figure 20-some years ago, you had a Mustang that ran, 5.0s on the street. That was a fast car. Just riding with him, looking up at the sky. When that thing would pull the wheels off the ground, just,
Yeah.
It's sold.
Yeah. Now going back to John Force, yeah, that he built himself up from pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the way he handled himself and held himself. Like, he would help anybody, talk to anybody, and that's kind of like, it's the reason why I stayed with the class we went in when we were with the Atomizer, with Jack French's class, the 10-5 class. Like, pretty much every dude in that class went from like Jesse Lambert to Blake to the Deckers to all of them, and they would help each other, man. Tommy Ryan, they were just like, if you needed something, they would lend you something. They did something for each other, man. I've never seen that much unity in a class before, and like that stuff, man, like really sells you when you have that. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to take a win just from a bye run.
Yeah.
Like they were going to fight for it. And that's kind of the reason why we chose to go Per Street now, because PDRA picked up Per Street, which is like the actual original style 10-5 racing. We went radials for this first, setup with the car with the new chassis, but now we're going back to 10-5 slick, race the OG way. And got to relearn all that. But, I went there just because the people in the class, man, it's like all the guys that were in our class went to that. And I'm like, you follow the people that you trust.
Now, have you had any big wins yet, Joe?
Nothing huge yet. We've done like little stuff, man. Just little tracks with like grudge stuff, but that's about it. Like I said, we don't get much time. We're going for that. This year, we're actually coming out swinging now that we got the car figured out. Cause the problem we were having was the car would want to lift up at 180 mile an hour every time. Having to run off. So, but now we figured that out, and it actually stays down now. We're going to try to come out in the 2021 swinging hard. Hopefully, be able to do some stuff.
Yeah, hopefully this year will be a better year as far as the COVID.
Yeah, I'm hoping, dude.
So when you go out racing with that car, how many crew members do you have?
On average, we have 4 crew members. It'd be, my uncle who comes and helps for free, my dad, another family member, and my daughter sometimes come and help. But other than that, we have Jamie Miller from Proline, and then they'll come over and help. And, you kind of get people from all aspects that kind of chip in.
Now, when you're out there on, in the staging lanes, do you have any previous rituals or superstitions at all?
Yeah, I like to be strapped in the car. Yeah, for some reason, man, like, you see people that they like, that's why I put a stereo in the car, because, like, I have to be strapped in the car. I can't be walking around. Like, I can walk, like, I don't know, it kind of messes with me. My mind, when I'm in the car, is clear with my ADHD, so I'm like, I have to be strapped in. I have to be sitting in there. It don't make a difference if it's 110 degrees in the race car. I'm strapped in with that heavy suit, listening to the radio.
All right, now, does it take a lot of preparation to get that car ready for a weekend?
Actually, no, it don't take much at all. I mean, we'll check over stuff, but I mean, the way the Proline motor is, like the Stage, kind of the reason why we went to Stage 2 is it doesn't have a huge canvas. It doesn't take a lot of preparation to do it. I mean, it's really just checking over things, making sure everything's still tight, everything's still good. The car really kind of takes care of itself.
Now,
It's actually surprised.
Now, where do you get your fire safety equipment from?
The fire system, I'm trying to remember where they got that from, because that was actually installed by JD Customs. As far as my outfit and stuff, I typically use Simpson, just because I like their stuff, and they have like the ultralight stuff, and it's like helmet stuff we use, like racecraft, pretty much the normal stuff that's required for the class, the fireproof and alcohol and methanol.
What kind of tires do you have on the car?
Before it was the Mickey Thompson 315 radials. Now it's going to be the Mickey Thompson 33 by 10.5 by 16 drag slick. We're going for that PDR A class this year.
Right.
Going to try to hit that pretty hard.
So are you guys going to be doing a lot of work on the car in the off season?
Yeah. I'm actually having stuff powder coated, changing the bar, having Jamie change the bars in the back. The car is going to be actually taken and a little bit of maintenance done. It's going to be ceramic coated to make it look even cleaner. I like a clean car. I can't stand dust. He said, "Clean car is a fast car."
Yeah. So now, have you reached any milestones so far in your racing career?
Actually, yeah. I said, getting the 415 mark, that was a goal that I wanted. I wanted to hit the threes, which that's still coming. I pretty much know that's coming within ease now. But it was just getting down to that point, because it seemed like when the car kept lifting, like I was struggling to get past that, 420s mark, high 420s, and it was even great to get down to there. Like, we were so happy to get down to there with a 3,400-pound car on a drag, 10.5 drag slick. So when we come back to this new chassis, man, and it just, first big race out, it busting out 415s, 416s. Like, I think I went a 418 and a 416, 415, and it was just steady. We're just adding little tiny increments at a time, making sure the car's going to take it. Because you got that window that Jamie wants to see before he'll start throwing any power at it. And, we crossed that barrier, so I'm like, we definitely hit the marks that I wanted to do. Plus, I got to meet people, too, this year. Like, people, look up to racers and stuff like that, so I got to actually meet people that I would want to meet. The people I'm a fan of stuff. I get to meet Brian with the Fireball Camaro, man, and he actually, when I went to a race, man, it didn't have a back race, man. He didn't let me a back race, didn't have to. Just like it, man, and stuff like that. And I was just like, it just, I crossed the milestones. I got to meet Chuck 55, man, and he come over and drink beer with us. It was, the things that you think you would never do, but you're like, hey, we'll try anyway. And you actually get to accomplish goals that you never thought would ever happen.
Now I have a question from the same listener again. He's asking, are you hopeful for the car? Are you hopeful for the 390s?
Oh yeah. What we're shooting for, which it should do, is 380s on the 10.5. Because that's like pushing the 10.5s. They might get faster, but right now I think it's a 384. I think it is the record on 10.5 right now. The 10.5 slick, and the car, we have the power for it to run the 360, 370. It's just a new chassis, figuring everything out. And, when we originally did the car, it was 3,400 pounds, and we were way overweight. But, now we got a full chassis that's completely usable, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So, 390s is going to be no problem. It shouldn't be no problem. Let me rephrase that. Lord protect me. But, ideally, we at the end of this, we want to see, like, high 380s and stuff with the 10.5.
Now, as far as the sport of drag racing goes, do you have anything on a bucket list that you'd like to try one day?
You know what? I actually want to. I'd like to try NASCAR one time.
Really?
Yeah, just because, man. Like, I like doing anything and everything with, anything with an engine. So it's like, the straight line stuff is fun. I'd probably suck at NASCAR, but you know what? I'd still give it a whirl because they're going to have to get me out of that car when they're done. I ain't getting out. But yeah, it'd be something cool to try, but I don't know if that would ever happen. I don't know if I'm still hopeful it'll happen. I hope I know they got those NASCAR experiences now, but other than that, I would say probably. I've always been interested in how a rail feels to drive too, so I'd probably like to try one of those things out. I'm so used to stuff with a shell around it,
Yeah, you're getting a dragster, huh?
Yeah, give it a try. Hell, if you live your life scared, man, you never live.
Yeah. So another question from the listener is, what transmission do you have in the car?
We actually run the M&M Mark Mickey 400, but it's a 2-speed instead of a 3-speed.
Nice. Now, would you ever want to drive a Pro Mod?
I would. I'd have fun driving a Pro Mod, but I'm more of a fan of the nostalgia actual car. We had Pro Mod, my dad did, and it was flown over to Alan Albee, by Alan Albee, them over to Qatar to race the stuff, but it was, a Pro Mod is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice, but it's not the same as driving like a street car. You go to a track, you see a Pro Mod next to a 67 Nova, both of them run 380s. You're like, yeah, the Pro Mod's nice. That freaking Nova moving, they can run the same times, just like it catches your attention. It's something about that whole era of racing and cars and stuff that kind of does it for me.
Now, would you ever want to drive a Nostalgia Pro Stock?
Yeah. I like Pro Stocks is. I do drive my uncle's car every once in a while now. He has it's a LSX compound turbo 70 Nova with on like factory leaf springs and stuff, man, and that's kind of a wild ride. It's that whole swaying on the other end is kind of crazy. But yeah, I drive pretty much anything with wheels on it. Some things without.
Yeah, Nostalgia Nitro funny car.
Heck no. I can't do that funny car stuff, man. I heard, like, you hear them talk about the fact that they don't, like, some of those funny cars, like, they black out, or they don't know what it is when where they're at when it first takes off. It's so much acceleration. And I'm like, being behind the wheel of this thing, it feels slow now. It does. But that whole, when you let off that trigger and she freaking just launches, you're like, I can imagine what, them guys go through.
Now, how about a jet car? Would you ever drive a jet car?
Hell no. Hell no. You ain't strapping me behind that. Dude, I've jumped out of airplanes. I would never, ever strap my tail into a jet car. It's nuts to even think about, man. I ain't Maverick, and ain't no co-pilot, ain't no goose in there, so we ain't doing it.
All right, so now, in the 6 years you've been racing on the track, have you had any accidents or close calls at all?
Other than popping willies, no. She seems to be a lover of willies, but that's about it. I mean, the one blessing I've had, well, I take it back. I've had one tire almost come apart. Luckily, when we go up, Jamie looks at stuff, and Jamie, the tire had patches that flew out of it. I don't know how the heck it happened, but he caught that before I made a basket. Otherwise, I probably would have ended up in the wall. But no, luckily, I've been very much blessed. Good Lord looks out for me, and that's, I pray every time I climb into the car to return to my family safe.
Well, knock on wood, you won't have any accidents.
Yeah, I'm hoping not, man. My thing is, not only it's like, you're having to be in an accident, it's having to explain to my mom that I tore her car up. She'd probably kick my tail.
Yeah. So now, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Other than family life, man, just trying to think, man. I mean, I kind of stick towards family life and, doing this, man. I keep my nose clear of everything. Just because it's easier that way, family life alone with 4 kids at 37 years old is busy enough.
So now, if you and your family ever have time to go on a vacation, what's your ideal vacation spot?
Oh, shoot, just a campground, brother. A campground, we got a camper, a Coleman camper. They don't care. We go to the beach. They don't care. We could go to the campground in the town that we live in. Just going to a campground. They love it. And I tell you what, man, it's peaceful. Just forget about life for a minute. And just sit back and relax.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a few more fun questions here.
Oh, Lord.
What is your favorite food to eat?
Oh, pizza. Pizza, man. Yeah, you got to have pizza. I'm like a Ninja Turtle, bro.
What do you like on your pizza?
Oh, meat lovers, man. You got to have that protein. Because I'm a carnivore. I can't eat no veggie pizza, man. I can't do that stuff like people do it. So, can't do that Hawaiian either, man. That's you got to have the meat.
Now, do you know how to cook?
Oh, yeah.
So what's your best dish that you cook?
Typical man, I think I cook steak. Steak and meats. Anything meat. That's how we do it.
Now, the wife cooks?
Oh, yeah. My wife, man, she's a stay-at-home mom. She's complete opposite of me, man. She hand makes everything, man, from, foods, some of the clothes. She's that type.
So
I don't know how the heck I landed her.
So what's your favorite dish that she cooks?
Oh, dude, she does what's that thing, man? It's like a Mexican style, like a chicken. It's like it's salsas. They got black beans and corn and stuff in it.
That sounds good.
Man, I ain't much of a beans person. I can't eat beans. But for some reason, dude, I freaking gobble that crap up. I gained 20 pounds. I have to lose it before the next race.
So when you're at the track for a day racing, how's your eating habits? Do you eat lightly and wait till the races are done, or do you eat normal during the day?
I eat lightly. I'm typically, man, I'm bouncing. I'm so excited to be there, and I go walking around and meeting all the other drivers and stuff. Because it's not only just me racing. I'm like, I'm just as giddy as the people over there just to watch. So I'm bouncing from trailer to trailer, saying hi to everybody, meeting everybody, and I still eat light. I drink a ton of water, but man, I'm so excited to be there, man. I don't think I could hold food down.
All right. So what's your favorite beverage, Joe?
Right now, water, brother. I gotta, trying to stay hydrated, man. I used to do Coke Zero and stuff, man, but with dieting and lifting weights now, trying to get ready and stay healthy for my family, man, I've gotten into drinking water. I tell you what, man, after you drink a ton of water, you can't go back to that stuff.
What's your favorite type of music?
I would have to say all. I listen to everything from rock to rap to country to gospel to, I mean, old jazz. I like anything. I'm up for anything. Love me some. I've gotten into Leonard Skinner and stuff here lately, which you get to that's that vibe of music. So you put that on, dude, you're sitting there just pretty chill.
Free bird.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? I'd have to think. Dang on, man, you put me on the spot with that one. I think I have to say pretty much, it's hard to narrow it down. I'd have to say almost all of Quentin Tarantino's movies. I really liked, some of his newer stuff and some of his, the Django and stuff. I'm just a real fan of the way he portrays his movies and how he picks his actors, man. It's just something about the way he does it, man. It just piques my interest. That, and I'd say, like, Jurassic Park. I grew up, when the first one came out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think kids realize how iconic Jurassic Park was.
Yep. All right, so now, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve is lazy people. That's all you can say. Just lazy people, man. I can't stand lazy people, man. I'm a worker through and through. I mean, I've held jobs since I was 12 years old, working back at a restaurant, washing dishes 6 days a week, 10 hours a day for $50 a week, just to make money to buy a Sega Saturn. It's like I can't see how people sit still.
Favorite color?
Blue, black, and red, man.
Dog person or cat person?
Oh, I'm a dog person. My wife's a cat person, so don't tell her that.
Well, you have a cat and dog both in the house?
No, we don't have any dogs right now, man. We have one cat left, and the rest of them have passed away. They've lived for 18 years. But, we got one left, and once that's gone, we're going to get a dog. We were going to get a dog before, man. But I didn't feel right about, just bringing a dog in. My cats don't like dogs. So my wife's cats don't like dogs. Let me rephrase that.
All right, so now if people want to, find out where you're going to be racing at, that kind of good stuff, where can they find out where you're going to be racing at?
Instagram and Facebook. Joseph Thomas on Facebook. It's just Thomas Racing 434, and Instagram Thomas Racing 434.
That if people come out and watch you race, they should stop by the pits and say hello to you, right?
Oh, dead on right. And I'll have some pictures, whatever, man. Come in, talk to us, sit down, have a drink, whatever.
All right, so I want to thank you very much for taking the time, Joe, to do this interview.
Oh, thank you, man, for having me.
Any final words, thank yous, any kind of good stuff before we close down?
Yeah. I'd like to thank Eric and Emmett Proline, man, for always being there and helping, man. And thank Jason and JE Customs, man, for all the work he did, man. He blew my mind when he redid this car. And I thank my mom and dad, man, for always being there to support me. Even though my dreams sound absurd, they've been always able to lift me up.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Joe, and I wish you the best of luck with the 2021 racing season.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your time, too.
You have a great night.
You too, brother.
All right, bye-bye.